Hi everyone, welcome to a new video. My name is Leonor. Today is the start of a readathon style video. Basically, before the holiday starts and everything starts getting really busy, I want to get to my goal. So I thought I would separate a week to read some extra books. It's not going to be a full week. It's basically going to be 3 days because, no one has time to read for a full week. But I thought I would present you the books that I've decided to read. I do have one book to finish from a recent vlog, which is Wild is the Witch by Rachel Griffin. I read around 100 pages, so I still have 200 to read, and I'm excited to finish that. I also am listening to Sherlock Holmes. I have the complete collection, as I'm pretty sure I told you previously, and I am going through all of it. I now have 2 books left, which is His Last Bow and the Casebook of Sherlock Holmes. I have just started His Last Bow, so I'm hoping to finish that one and maybe start the Casebook, if not at least finish His Last Bow. I also have 2 Christmassy books because I thought, you know what, I might as well just go for some holiday reads. I have this, which I've had for a few years. I think it was published maybe 2016. I've had it a lot longer than I thought I did. But I've read a little bit of it and I don't remember basically anything. So I want to finish it up. And that is Christmas Days. Winterson's Winter Tales. Unfailingly... Oh, sorry. That was a review. I thought it was a extra title. And that is Christmas Days by Jeanette Winterson. It's just a collection of little tales, not only short stories, but recipes as well. And there's 12 recipe style things and 12 short stories. But I thought I would just read it in between everything else. And I also have this mystery novel. It's from 1972, but it was republished as a Hatchards special edition. Hatchards is a London bookshop and they do sometimes do these special editions republishing of older books. And this is a Christmas edition. They're a limited number and I managed to snatch this one up. The name of the book is Tied Up in Tinsel by Ngaio Marsh. I'm not sure if that's right. But yeah, I'm excited for that. It's a Christmas mystery. You have everyone in one house, and then there's a murder around Christmas, and someone decides to solve it. But yeah, and everyone has secrets. So I'm hoping this will be a quick read. It's less than 300 pages, as is Wild is the Witch. And Christmas Days is, let's have a look, also under 300 pages. So hopefully I'll be able to finish all these up. And whenever I'm not sitting down and reading these books, I am going to be listening to Sherlock Holmes, hopefully. We'll see how this goes. But let's start. I'll see you in just a bit. Hi, I'm back. So I have run some errands this morning while listening to Sherlock Holmes, and I ended up finishing His Last Bow. I wasn't aware that it was so small. I was putting it through Goodreads, and I noticed that actually normally it comes together with the Casebook of Sherlock Holmes in physical form. And so I'm gonna try and finish both this readathon because there were only like 5 short stories in this one. And I have to say, it wasn't my favorite. My favorites for now, I think, are the memoirs of Sherlock Holmes and the adventures of Sherlock Holmes over any of the actual full novels. But yeah, I had a lot of fun reading it and I took care of some business, which is great. So now that the sun is going down, I'm going to sit down and finish Wild is the Witch. That's my plan for the rest of the evening. And yeah, I do also have an hour left on a book that I'm reading on Kindle at the moment. I don't think it makes sense to mix it with this, so I might try and also read that just to finish it, be done with that, so I don't start a lot of books while I still have literally an hour left on another book. Those are my plans for this afternoon. In case you didn't see my other vlog, just really quickly, Wild is the Witch is about a young witch that had a bit of a traumatic childhood, and she is now very happy with her life and where she lives with her mom. But recently a guy started working where they both work in their animal refuge, and he's a bit antagonistic, and he has said some not nice things about witches, and so she impulsively does this ritual that she normally does just to take away her anxieties, and she curses him accidentally, and the curse is bound to an owl, and the owl runs away, and so she then has to go and try and find the owl and try and fix what she did. But it's also a bit of a hate-love romance with said guy she cursed. I've read 100 pages and things are starting to happen. You've had the whole introduction, and now they have both together gone to find this owl. And I'm enjoying it. It's just a romance with a bit of whimsy, and I want to finish it because it's quite small and I want another book on my Goodreads count. But yes, I think that's all for now. I will now make a tea, probably maybe get a snack and hunker down here to finish reading this. So yeah, I'll update you later on, or actually probably tomorrow, because it's gonna be quite dark later on. I'll see you in a bit. Good morning, it's now the next day. Yesterday I managed to finish both His Last Bow by Arthur Conan Doyle and Wild is the Witch by Rachel Griffin. I had 200 pages left on this one yesterday, and that's what I read throughout the afternoon and evening. Pretty sure I had talked about His Last Bow, but in case not, it's the smallest of the Sherlock Holmes books. And I had some errands to run in the morning, so I just put the audiobook on and read the whole thing. And then in the afternoon, I sat down to finish reading Wild is the Witch. This book, as I said yesterday, is about a witch that casts a curse on a colleague by mistake, but the curse is it's living within an owl, and to reverse the process and get rid of this curse, they need to go after this owl in the wilderness. And so that's where I was. They had just gone into the wilderness, into the mountains, to go looking for this owl. The rest of the book, the other 200 pages, it's just about them looking for this owl, getting to know each other, and forming this connection. Obviously, she's hiding a pretty big secret, and so at some point, he's going to have to discover that not only is she a witch, but she cast this curse on him. And that's the big conflict then obviously gets resolved in the end. It was a good book. I liked the story, I liked the writing, I liked the characters, I liked the plot. I was surprised that it was a lot more emotional than I was expecting. I was expecting it to be a lot more of light romance with the witchy element, but it was a lot darker and more emotional than I was expecting. So yeah, I don't want to give too many spoilers because it's a pretty straightforward romance with the witchy element, and so I don't think I should talk about it too much in case I give too many spoilers. But yeah, I think I gave it around 3 to 3.5 stars. I don't think it deserves more than that. But yeah, so that's all about this book. Finished those 2 yesterday, and today I have been running some errands in the morning, and so, doing stuff around the house, working, editing videos, and so I have put the final Sherlock Holmes book on my headphones, and I've just been listening to that the whole morning. And that is the Casebook of Sherlock Holmes, which actually I'm about halfway through already. And so I'm expecting to finish it today as well. And that will be my 3rd book of the readathon. I have to be honest, I'm not reading big books. The last bow was like 200 pages. This one I had 200 pages left, so that's 400 pages. And the Casebook of Sherlock Holmes is around 300 pages. And the other 2 on my TBR are 300. But yes, so I finished those 2. I am now reading the Casebook of Sherlock Holmes, and I plan to sit down this afternoon and start Tied Up in Tinsel, which, as I said yesterday, is a mystery. So that's what I'm going to be starting this afternoon. If I do finish, because I'm already halfway through the Casebook of Sherlock Holmes, if I do finish that before tomorrow, I was thinking of starting the Stardust Thief, because I have it on my audio already, and I know it's not really a Christmassy book, really, and I was hoping to get into those for the rest of this readathon, but you know what? It's really the only thing I have on my Audible at the moment, and I am interested in reading that, so I might also start that one today or tomorrow. But yeah, I will now sit down and start reading for this afternoon. Quite excited. It's getting darker a lot earlier, and I want to cozy up again like I did yesterday and just kind of read throughout the afternoon. I'm excited to do that. I'll see you in a bit. Hi, here is Editing Leonor. I am interrupting your planned content because it ended up that this video has been quite long, and so I decided to separate it into 2 videos. One is going to be going up today and the other one next week. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you're excited for next week's. As well as having enjoyed this one. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you next week.